Hi, I'm Jeff, the Thrifty Overlander. In this video, we're going to go on an adventure, so come along.
So this video is going to be my guide to Black Bear Pass Trail with definitely a flair towards the full-size Overlander. I think the Black Bear Pass Trail has gotten a little bit more reputation than it really deserves. It's really a pretty, just a great fun trail that's, it's got some challenging parts to it, but it's not the death-defying trail that you take your life into your own hands every time you do it. The first part of it, probably the first half before you get to the pass itself, is just like any other trail in the area, nice alpine drive and everything. Once you get to the pass, you start kind of going down into some, you start to go down into some glacial bowls. This area still is similar to like as if you're doing Engineer, Cinnamon, Hurricane, Corkscrew, any of those types. It's not that tricky. Once you start getting closer to the ledge that goes over into the switchbacks, you get into a few spots that's got some more challenging areas. There has been people that have tipped in some of these and so forth. It's kind of key to just catch the correct line that you need and don't get yourself too far off camber. That's kind of the catch that others seem to have missed or something. But otherwise, it's a little bit of a challenge, but nothing that you can't really do that without just taking your time. It's all about taking your time and finding the right line. This is one particular spot that actually did have some tip overs at just because of a little bit of an off-camber ledge you can drop off. For the most part, being in a full-size Overlander didn't really make a whole lot of difference. I've done this twice before in Xterras, and this wasn't a whole lot different with the full-size, other than when you really get into the switchbacks. It was a little bit tighter because this is a bigger vehicle, longer wheelbase. It really mattered more that I had to do extra, like 4-point turn instead of 3-point turns. I think a common misconception with full-size overlanding is that they are just going to be high centering all the time, and that it's going to be less control and rougher. When in reality, sometimes that longer wheelbase makes things easier. Sometimes you clear ledges and all that a little differently, and it can make it easier, not necessarily harder. You can see from this point the creek's on your left, and you're looking down into the valley of Telluride, and this is where it starts to get a little bit more challenging. It's still not necessarily that horrible, but you do get into this chipped out road area that basically it's not like your wheel's going to be hanging off the ledge. It is narrower than what you're used to driving, but it's really just take your time. Keep to the rock side, but don't climb up on the rocks at all. That's one of the problems, that people get too afraid and they climb up their wheel on the one side and gets them off camber. When in reality, if you look here, there's plenty of room. You're not going off the ledge that much, and I think it's looking over your hood and everything. It doesn't feel like there's that much room, but that's one of the things that happens in this little ledge area. From this point on, it's really just about doing the switchbacks. Some of them are pretty tight. There's a couple that are actually really quite tight, and that made a little bit of a difference with the full-size Overlander, but not enough to stop you from doing anything. I've seen people with 2500s or 250s with long beds doing this, so it's not that bad. So don't ever not do this just because you got a full-size vehicle. Once you leave the waterfall and the mine ruin area, the ledge road there gets kind of narrow, and it does feel like you're definitely risking life and limb there, but it makes it all that much more exciting. There actually used to be a rock along here that stuck out, and some people would run their wheel up on it, and that's where one of the roll down the hill crashes occurred years ago. And just before I went done this in 2018, that rock was removed.
It looks like you've got a lot of experience. You want to let me out and I'll watch you come down around, or you want to tell me when to stop? Okay.
This hairpin turn is probably the trickiest part of the whole Black Bear Pass Trail. So you can see it's doable. You've just got to basically do your extra points of turns if that's what it takes. But you're definitely going to line yourself up to look like you're going to go right off the ledge, back up against the rock wall, and keep it turning. Sometimes you might even get your sliders into the rock that's kind of in the point of the turn too. Again, take your time, use your spotters. If you don't have a spotter, take your time even more and get out and look. If that's what it takes, that's not that hard to do. It's just you gotta get over your fears, really what it boils down to. But this is really the hardest spot, I found.
You got 2 feet. 1 foot. Yeah, you're doing it. Yeah, absolutely. Back up? No. Really? Nope, you're good. That road's gone. All right, no, wait. You got about 2 more feet, and then you might have to back up. Yeah, if you can back up now, you'd be good. Pretty good. Oh, I see. Yeah, that's a problem. That's the only problem up there. It used to probably be wider up.
Basically, Black Bear Pass is an icon of a trail. It's not necessarily as extraordinary as maybe the Rubicon Trail is or something like that takes days and to go miles and an incredible amount of skill and equipment, but it's such an icon. The scenery is so amazing looking down into the Telluride Valley. It's just something you got to do. It's well worth it. Just take your time and enjoy it. It's just it's amazing. A couple of days after Bill and I finished Black Bear Trail, Ed, Mike, and Dan tackled it as well, and they had a great time. They loved it too.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit that like button and subscribe. We'll see you on the trail.